I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
I'm not as excited tonight. I'm sorry, y'all.
You're not trying to... Hey.
I mean, I'm excited to see you guys. Hi.
Hey,
welcome to the God Friended Me After Show right here with your favorite Afro-Latina, Franceli.
Yes. And I'm here with the good news and all that good stuff. I'm your other host, Rochelle.
Yes, she's, God's bestie. Yeah. They like best friends or whatever. But I'm really, really sad tonight. Like, tonight's episode got me. I was crying out there. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get in the studio and pull it together for y'all. Girl. I hope you guys are in the chat with us, ready to talk all things God Friended Me, because we're going to get right into tonight's episode. Yes. The last little thing, because the last thing I wanted to do was cry tonight and have to redo my whole face.
Come on, somebody.
What did you think about tonight's episode?
I'm not sad, but it was heartwarming. I mean, it was just heart touching. It pulled on a lot of tug, especially if you've ever lost someone to cancer or anything. Mm-hmm. Just going through that, seeing Javicia from being super happy to almost falling out to vomit. It was just, it was there. They took it there. They took it to the next level. I'm excited. That was a good episode, girl.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was walking into. I mean, we know that this season the theme has been cancer because Ali has it, and we've been tackling that. I just want to dedicate tonight's after show to Latasha Fry, a friend of a friend who passed away literally 2 days ago from breast cancer.
Right.
So this one hit real hard for me. I've hung out with her just once. She's a beautiful spirit. I found out she has a 5-year-old daughter that she has left behind, and she's literally in her early 30s, like a baby. So I was just like, oh, so
that was a little touchy for you.
It was just a lot to hit on, because like today at church, she was like my old roommate from college was on my spirit. Like, I'm praying for you. Right. I sent her a text, and then it was like, oh. Then I come to this show, and here we are. So, the thing is, the show started with, the gang getting into the poker game. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so I really love the writing of tonight's episode. Like, my overall thoughts is just the writing was really incredible, because you thought tonight's episode was going to be about that. Like, oh, they're getting into the poker game. We're going to get into this. We're going to really get into this, like, underground life. We're going to see what's really happening. And the show just took us on a whole roller coaster emotional ride of what it really means to have faith, right? I think that's what tonight's episode was about. Right. But tell us what you guys think and how you felt about tonight's episode. But we got to find out at the poker game who the guy's real name was. His name was really Aaron Lee. Yes. Aaron, has a shady employer who he's trying to find out who they really is. And there's this birth certificate. I mean, it was just like, we were getting all these facts. I was like, ooh, it's getting good. I felt like I was in the game of Clue. Like, who did it? But it
was a lot around it, though.
Yeah. There was so much going on.
Right. It was just like a little bit like, and then they brought back our great friend, Ray.
I love Ray.
If you don't remember who Ray is, he was the private investigator. Correct, right?
Yeah, private investigator.
I'll put just PI. But so they brought him back, and it's been awesome seeing them reach out to people that could help our friend. What is his name? I cannot come to it, but we're gonna get back to it. But point is that they was going all around.
James was his name, not James. I think it was James. But y'all can help us out. I know Ivan's in the chat. He gonna put us together.
Absolutely. But my point of basically saying is just that it was a lot going around. It was deeper. We really was focused on his friend request. Right. And not really worried too much about behind it, which I appreciate, because, the episode was amazing.
It was amazing. And tonight, Miles Finer got a friend request. But like usual, he meets the friend request before he gets the friend request. Mm-hmm. And so she bumps into him, or he bumps into her on a bike. Her name is Anna. Mm-hmm. I loved her coat, by the way. Can we talk about her red coat?
I was going to say something, but you know what? I was like, we
were distracted by so many other things. But I could appreciate a sister's really nice coat,
Absolutely.
Fashion. So she out here.
Yes.
And then come to find out that's his friend request. Yes. And at first, I don't know about you, but at first I thought, ooh, maybe a new love interest.
You got it on.
I know Ivan's going to be mad at me about it, but I was like, ooh, this could be cute. Like, he's really invested.
Right.
She, come to find out she has cancer, and she doesn't want to fight this time. So she's like, I got this bucket list. And I thought it was really awesome. I don't know about you. Do you have a bucket list?
Well, my bucket list is every day. Not to be like, I don't have anything in particular that I really, really need to do. But honestly, I live every day like it's my last. You know, like life is really short. And as we were watching the show together, and she was blessing me with that story about her friend who unfortunately passed away, it's just like, it doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter what you're doing. I mean, everybody has an appointment with God one day. So I don't know when my day is, but I do know that I'm gonna live today like it's my last. Why not?
Listen, it's one of those things. It's like, I'm not sure I have a bucket list, but there are things that I would like to do before I get out of here, you know?
Yeah. And before I get out of here.
Yeah, before, my time is up.
Can you share when?
One of my bucket lists was to run a marathon, and I did that already. In 2016, I ran the New York City Marathon. So I got one checked off.
That's awesome.
And it's interesting because I've never thought of it as bucket list. Similar to Anna's story, there are these things that you're kind of afraid of, whether it's consciously or subconsciously. And fear isn't always like... I think when people think of fear, they think of something like, Anna's afraid of heights. Oh my God, I can't get there. But also fear is things like...
internal.
Thinking of things that are much bigger than you. Like, it's too big for me. That thing, that's for those kind of people.
Yeah.
Those are much smaller fears, because ultimately that's what it really comes down to. You're afraid to believe that you're capable of accomplishing such thing, or even stepping into that kind of challenge.
Yeah.
So I've never been a runner. I never ran in my life. Like, I didn't do track and field or anything like that. I don't love to run, like, recreationally. So the idea of running 26.2 miles just seemed so much above me. And so, I want to do things that I think are too much for me. And I think that was really cool that Anna was doing that. She was trying to check off all these things that were way bigger. And ultimately the biggest thing we found out was her story of who she was trying to save, and feeling like, I didn't even want to write that down. Has there anybody ever had a thing that they were I thought that was so beautiful. Like, I didn't even want to write it down because I thought that
the power in it,
I couldn't do it.
What?
When she said she couldn't sit down with the parents.
Oh.
Wasn't that such a what did you think about that moment where she finally talked to the parents?
I love the fact that it's I feel like life is always like that. Whatever you're like so scared of, when you get there, it has so much grace. Like when you do something, you broke something of your parents or something like that, you're like, I can't tell. And then the moment you talk to them, they be like, it wasn't even a big deal. And that's really what she got received. And I thought that was really awesome when she did. Just wrapping around with the story, basically, she had a mentor, or she was working for
a crisis center.
And she had a person who called who I guess had suicidal thoughts, and she promised her that she'll always be there for her. Unfortunately, she called her one time. Anna did not pick up her phone call, and she what's the proper way? Just suicide. I didn't want to say she killed herself.
Died by suicide. I think is the proper term that people use now, that someone has died by suicide.
Yeah. So unfortunately she did that, and unfortunately Anna, she held that, and she had a grudge, and she never wanted to talk to the parents about it because she felt that she let the young lady down and the parents down. But when she talked to them, awesomely, they were acceptive, and they were just like, that's not something that you need to carry. That's not something you need to hold on to. Like, you don't have to worry about that. So I'm happy she had that peace before she went home.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite part was that you don't need our forgiveness. You need to forgive yourself and make peace. I think a lot of times, some of the hardest moments in our lives, that's the hardest thing, is looking in the mirror and forgiving yourself. There are things that other people, yes, hurt us, and there are things that we've been through that we can't control, but there are other moments where you realize that I really have to forgive myself for who I was back then, to allow those things to happen, or whatever the case may be. I didn't have the courage to walk away. There's so many things that it really takes forgiveness of self to move on, because it's so much easier to just be angry at the person who's hurt you, or be angry at God in Anna's case. But when you really make peace with self and forgive self, I mean, it moves mountains. It really changes the game.
You have a new breath of life, a new perspective on life. You can move differently.
Yeah. What I really loved about tonight's episode, and I want to ask you about it, is how we got to see Miles and Ali, the brother-sister relationship. She's struggling. But, as a big brother, you want to be there in a particular way. And I think that, there were these moments, like when Arthur came and gave her a Bible, her mom's Bible at that. It's like it was the trump card. Like, what I came to bring you at the hospital, that doesn't really amount to what you're giving. So he really felt like what he had to give wasn't enough, and didn't know how to help his sister. Like, I felt that was such a beautiful topic to touch on. Like, there are so many times where I feel like what I have to give isn't enough. What did you think about that tonight?
Absolutely. And coming with that mindset, because as well, like, it's not like I'm not the richest person, and I have a lot of friends that's a little well off, you know, especially this is the birthday season and stuff, and it's just like, dang, I wish I could. But your friends know your heart, your family knows your heart, and it's not a competition. Right. And as long as you move that it's not a competition, like, you're gonna be Gucci. I feel like in that, all he has to do, which he did, was express that to Ali, and she told him all you need to be, honestly, which is priceless, is be here. And that's what one thing I always can give to my friends. You can always have a phone, a shoulder, a prayer warrior, whatever the case will, you know, those things cannot be bought. Right. You know, they cannot be given. So yeah, I'm happy that he see that it's not a competition. Who you are is good enough.
I mean, a lot of times that's what we think, right? That like we need to be able to do something, this grand gesture. Yeah. And a lot of times just showing up is all people need, Absolutely. You know? Just be there. Just Absolutely. Be there. Yeah. Question for y'all. Did anybody peep Arthur Finer's like bling blow? Like, because I think you pointed it out to me that he had like this chain. I'm like, do all bishops, reverends, pastors, I don't know, do they get to rock such bling?
Okay, I wish I could hear you guys. Unfortunately, our chat disconnected because our Wi-Fi. So Ivan, if you are talking to us, I do apologize. We're not getting anything. All we got so far is that he's very depressed. As you can see, we are too about this episode. I'm so sorry, friends.
Hi. Yes, just we'll be able to check in with you guys even after we're not live anymore. Okay. I do want to get into just what came out at the end, because this whole friend request was, you know, because as we talked about Miles and Ali coming together, the gift that she gave him after saying, look, all you have to be here, was then she gave him the gift about how to be there for Anna too, because it was like a double entendre. Like, it's like, I don't know how to be there for my sister, but I don't know how to be there for Anna either. And God gave him a way, because he'll make a way out of no way. Won't he do it? Come on. And Ali was like, listen, you know, maybe God, the God account sent you this woman because she's lost her faith and it's about you helping her find it. But it's so crazy. How does an atheist help someone find their faith? What did you think about that challenge that God friended me gave Miles this episode?
I love it. I love it because it was so human. It was so relatable. And regardless if you believe in God or you don't, we all have been there. We all question what's real, what's not. We all question our faith. And I've known myself. I mean, I'm a God-fearing person. I love him and I couldn't live this life without him. But I have been through that phase of like, I ain't doing this. I don't know, you know? Mm-hmm. And it was really awesome to see them write that out and show it, especially through such an emotional episode. That was so good and well put. Right. But I'm so excited now to see the future episodes, to see how this works out with his fate, especially because that always brings everyone together. You already know when you go to a funeral, everybody be like, we got to get together, not on occasions like this. You already know death always make everybody shift it up. So now that young lady has passed, and we've never really had an episode where death was a thing like that, or one of his friend requests, now I'm so curious to see how is it going to shape Miles' mind.
Well, the interesting thing is that the first really big death that has shifted Miles in his life was his mother's death. Mm-hmm. His mother's death shifted him to become a non-believer. Right. And then now he's been on this journey as the millennial prophet, the prophet of this account. And like you said, he's had all these friends requests, and now this is the first death of his friend request. And I know that that's going to leave a huge shift to happen in his journey. So we'll see how that tests his faith or lack thereof. Because Ali made a point to him. You do have faith. You may not have faith in the religion aspect, but you have faith in people, which is one of the most beautiful things you can have. Because you can have religion and have no connection or faith to people. And I think the beautiful thing that Anna said, her last words before she died, is faith isn't just about religion. You know, we're all connected, and we can all, and it really is about community and connection. And I feel like if you're in any kind of an environment, whether it's religious or not, and that environment doesn't make you feel like you're connected, like you're seen, heard, or loved, then that's not a fostering good environment for you. Absolutely. So let's get into some predictions. Do you have predictions about what is going to happen next week? Because Miles meets an atheist, which he's excited about, But I don't know. I'm really excited too to see what happens.
I think he's gonna
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
What are they?
I'm more than a prediction. I'm just more excited about next week because he really, as you've seen in the preview, that man did come at him a little disrespectful. He said that I feel like it's quite embarrassing that what you're doing. It's a whole gimmick, this whole Millennium podcast you have going on. And I think that he's gonna, by him defending himself, he's gonna be defending God. And listen, I'm here for it.
The word says you will be persecuted for my sake. So
I'm here for. I'm so curious, Red.
Yeah, I'm really. I don't know. My prediction is that he unknowingly is going to be one of the soldiers for God and is going to be defending God without
girl, we
even
gonna be
knowing
crying.
it. I'm gonna be crying.
We
next
need
week.
to do no
I'm
makeup
over
next
it.
week.
Let's get into some good news, girl. Give me some good news because I don't got time. I'm over it. I don't want to cry no more. No, I'm not gonna cry.
It's about that time for that good news. Okay.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Get into it.
So if you watch the show, you know Ali, and if you know her real name is Javicia, and she got a new show. Well, a movie on Netflix airing today, March 1st. You guys, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago when she first got the role, and we were super excited for her because she's starring this new movie, which is amazing. But now it is on Netflix. And come on, somebody, everybody got a Netflix account, and if you don't, you got somebody else passwords and email. So tonight I'm gonna be watching this show. This movie in support of Javicia because we're so proud of her and we love her. So you guys, check it out.
I'm trying to tell y'all need to Netflix and chill. And shout outs to Yvette Nicole Brown who wrote the movie, a really good friend of mine. So I've seen the movie, but I'm gonna watch it again because Netflix can get this coin and
we can get those views.
Right,
That's
I need to support my sister. It's a beautiful romantic comedy if you're into that, and if you're not into it, just give it a try. Always a bridesmaid, support our sister.
And
Brandon Michael Hall's in it too.
He is.
So
now.
you got both of them.
And another amazing, beautiful actor.
Oh yes, he's beautiful.
Ooh, Jordan. Child, Jordan been up here too for good news. He been up here, and I'm just so jealous because if y'all ever see me up here not on a Sunday, it's because I'm looking for him. He's so beautiful. So we just want to continue to support. Please go ahead and get those views up. You know, there's new actors and new actresses coming along, and it's awesome to see it blossom. So that's all I have for the good news. Congratulations, Javicia.
Hey, and speaking of good news, we want to spread some love and go into our special segment where we talk about God Speaks. It's our special segment where we talk about how God has spoken to us this week, and you can always join us on the conversation in the comments and tell us how God spoke to you this week, and we'll keep the conversation going. So, Rochelle, how did God speak to you this week?
Well, I think we're going to take a second because mine was a cool little paragraph that I'm waiting for.
Okay,
so you
go ahead,
Fred.
Oh, you want me
us.
to say?
Please.
Okay, I'll go first while they're getting you set up and ready. Man, God has been speaking so much this week. You know, I said last week, you got to practice what you preach. And one of the things that I preached about a few weeks ago was about love and love having boundaries. And I've had to have like some really hard conversations this week and continue to have to do so to challenge me on how to set boundaries in my friendships and in my relationships and set some healthy parameters to keep me safe, right?
Yes,
to guard my heart.
Yes.
Because the word says, guard your heart with all diligence. And I'm such a lover. I literally just give my heart. Like, here, take it. And do with it what you want.
Do as you please.
And I really think that that's not what love looks like. That love is unconditional, but love is loving yourself too, and part of loving yourself is guarding your heart. Part of loving yourself is setting boundaries, is saying no. You know, you have to do those kinds of things. So it's like you can't say that you love someone when you don't even love yourself in the way that's proper. So you got to teach people how to love you, and that sometimes you got to build some fences around your heart to take care of that. So God has been really speaking really loudly to me about that, and also that even with all of that he still takes care of me, that I'm good. That, you know, that even when you set those boundaries, that God's gonna work it all out for my greater good. So there's no need to be like worried or afraid that if I set those boundaries or if I say no, that those people will leave me or stop loving me, because then that challenges them to love me unconditionally, right? So it's just, God's been speaking to me about love and how to love myself deeper.
Girl, so we gonna scratch what I gave before, and you just brought me back to something that I was praying for this week. So the way God spoke to me is, I did overhear you were saying that, having grace on people, and that's something I literally prayed for this week because, I had some going back and forth with some close ones of mine, and I really had to just pray because I don't want no drama. I don't want nothing that doesn't have, and that's my thing of 2020. I was just like, if it doesn't have grace in it, I don't want it. If I'm doing something and something goes wrong, it ain't for me, because everything I want is to have God's grace on it. It needs to be easy breezy. And I had to really pray these past 3 days, like, God, like, I don't want to ever feel like I'm, superior than anyone else, and he has so much grace on my life, so I need to have so much grace on others, because who am I, so it just really reminded me, and it was such a great reminder that it's just like, just have grace for others, because you don't know what they're going through, the same way they don't know how I'm going through, so sometimes things ain't personal, it ain't personal, but I just want my life full of grace. So thank you for being a reminder of how God spoke to me this week.
Hey, amen. Yes. Okay. I love it. I love how God speaks to us. Like I said, let us know how God's speaking to you. We're really, really excited. I love coming here every Sunday. Like, it's interesting how even on tonight's show, to just wrap it up, the show title, The Last Little Thing. Today, this was the last little thing I had to do today. I had a really long day. You check things off. And you get to your end of your list and you're like, oh, man. Ooh, I got this one last stretch of my night, of my day on this Sunday. But I'm reminded how blessed we are to do this, to talk to you guys, to be here, to talk about such a great show that's on television. So thank you for being with us here every week. I'm so grateful to be here as well and just do this every week.
I'm truly grateful to meet you, to know you. You're amazing. If you guys don't know that she is a upcoming pastor as well, how do we say, what's the proper title?
I'm a minister in training.
Upcoming pastor. And I mean, your words really do hit it. So it's a blessing, especially on days that I do miss church and stuff like that. It's a blessing being here. And this show truly do bless my spirit.
We be having church right here on the God Friend and Me After Show.
Man.
So you can check us out every week. We'll be here next week.
Yes.
We love you guys. You can continue to check me out on all the things at Selly Hangout. So hang out with me. How can people check you out?
You guys can always find me on Instagram at RoachBaby. That's RoachBabyE. And that's where you can find me. Okay.
Hey now. And so we love you guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.